doesn't have to be that way.
Oh, it's the best appointment I've had with a doctor.
Oh,
There's a doctor in the house.
well, I
bet you've heard all that before.
Well.
So really lovely to see you again, Robert.
Nice to see you as well.
We saw you in 2016,
Yes.
which is
8 years now.
8 years. It's gone so quickly, and so much has happened since then.
Yeah.
And now you're back again
Yes.
at the Hertford Corn Exchange, and you're on your Together Alone tour.
Yeah, I've got a new album coming out, Together Alone, which is out in May. And just enjoying being on the road and doing what we do, you know. Yeah, like you said, a lot's happened since we were here last.
Yeah.
A couple of years there where we didn't do... Well, we made an album, actually. Like a lot of people in lockdown, we did what we do. So.
Yeah.
But obviously we didn't play live, and that's just reinforced the idea that the best thing about it all is playing live and playing music to people. That's what we love to do the most.
Yeah. How did it feel to get back playing live, you know, straight after the lockdown?
It was great. Like I said, it's not just about us, it's about the audience, about that communal thing about being in a space where people are together and playing music and losing themselves, hopefully, and enjoying themselves. And we miss that. We need that as human beings.
Yeah, definitely. The album, the latest album, comes out in May, Together Alone.
Yeah.
Is that to do with those times, you know, or is that a different...
I suppose it all feeds into it. I mean, I just write a lot songs all the time. I sort of write words down all the time, so it's always I'm not really a sort of storyteller, so in my songs they're more to do with just emotions and things that I'm feeling, so I think those things seep in.
Yeah, definitely.
And that the name Together Alone, is that the sort of idea of loneliness is a crowded room? Is that where you're going with that?
It can be. It's more it's to do with the fact that I think it was something like it was a Bob Dylan song or a quote that he said about that he was born against his will and he'll die against his will, and in between you just do the best you can. And you might find some people that you love, and you might find people that you share your life with, but ultimately we come into the world and leave the world alone. And so it's a common theme, I think, especially in old blues songs, you know, and things like that. So it's not meant to be kind of dark. It's just the way it is.
Yeah. And what can we expect from the new album?
New albums, often it's a reaction to the one before. So the one before was called Journey to You, which was quite quintessentially kind of Blow Monkeys, that had lots of strings and big arrangements and quite soulful. This is a bit more playful, a bit more experimental. And there were things on it which we haven't done before, kind of 50s influence things, things with sambo rhythms, and just a bit of fun really. And just the four of us, because we played a lot live over the last 10 years, so I tried to strip it down and get the essential sound of the band, you know.
And so it really, I mean, summer's coming, so it sounds to me like that would be a great soundtrack for this summer.
Well, we'd be like, I hope so, yeah. I hope it comes.
We'll get it.
So as well as your tour and your album this year, it's also the 35th anniversary of Wait, isn't it? With Kim Melle.
I don't keep score.
Yeah, it's 35 years.
Right,
and
where did that go?
We actually interviewed Kim about 7-8 weeks ago, and she was singing your praises, said how wonderful you were to her, you and your family at the time when it all came together. How did that come about, the collaboration?
Well, I was making this tune. It was a house tune, and I thought it's not really for the band, you know what I mean? I was playing around, and initially I got the singer Sam Byrne, who did it. And,
Stop,
she did Stop.
Yeah,
not
brilliant.
Wait. And
Stop waiting.
she recorded a version with me, and then her management or record company said, "No, we've got this song, Stop, we're going to go with that, and it's probably not right for her." And I said, "Fine, that's fine." And a friend of mine said, "Kim Melle is in town at this point," and I knew Kim I knew of her because of the records she made with Marcel Jefferson, very early house records and things like that. So I thought, oh well, that's just perfect, and if she's into it. So I rang her up. I think that's how it worked. just like that, and
like you did in those days.
Yeah, like you did, yeah, and you know, it wasn't WhatsApp or email.
No.
It was just you met people, and so it was perfect. It was obvious. It was great straight away that was the right choice, you know.
Yeah, and we've got some a clip because Lee was actually on Top of the Pops when it was played.
When you, so I was there with you all that time ago.
Yeah.
That's me there.
We have Robert Howard and Kim Melle playing live on Top of the Pops. Check this out.
Oh right, yeah.
I mean,
Wow.
It's incredible.
I didn't know you were there.
I know. Reunited after all this time.
How does it feel, you know, to think back on those times? It must have been so exciting at that time.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, you know, it's what I wanted at the time. You know, I mean, I always, you know, when I was growing up, you know, Top of the Pops was a massive thing. So that was the aim. If I'm, you know, I could say all the other things, but actually, the aim was to sort of get on there. And that was the big
Such
deal
an
at
iconic
the time.
show, yeah.
You know, I grew up watching Mark Bolan and people like that on it.
Yeah.
So it was a thrill. But then the really hard work starts, and you just carry on, and you make music, and you just hope that you can kind of carry on doing that, you know.
Yeah.
But it was great fun because it was that last big pop era, I guess, the 80s.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Definitely.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
There's so many genres then, wasn't there?
Yeah, and also, you know, it was still a big deal in people's lives. Music, it was a big part of everything. So
Yeah, it was.
I think there are now other interests and other things, but at that time it was a thrill. Yeah.
Yeah,
And you only had
definitely.
those few channels, didn't you?
Yeah.
So everybody watched Top of the Pops.
That's right.
At 7 o'clock, 7:30 on
Yeah.
the
Really
BBC
unifying,
One.
wasn't it? Everybody knew that they were all watching.
Yeah.
All your friends were watching it.
Yeah, it was a unifying cultural thing because everybody watched it. So
What was it like for you, like with your family, for the first time you were on there? Was it a really, really exciting time?
It was, but my family was so scattered around the world. My family were in Australia, a lot of them. I had a brother and sister in England, but they kind of like played it cool. So I didn't really. They were older. Yeah, it was kind of odd, you know. I didn't really have that kind of. I mean, my mum, who was in Australia, was really like very proud, I think, and
I
loved
bet,
all that. And I
yeah.
used to send her videos and things like that.
Yeah.
So, it was. Yeah, of course, it's a thrill. Yeah. I'm not
How
gonna
did all
deny
the
that.
trappings of the success fit with you, Robert? I think I've heard you say that you didn't sort of quite like those, you know, the celebrity side of it.
I liked it. I mean, I enjoyed it. I had fun with it.
Yeah.
But I didn't feel that comfortable in it. I wasn't really very good at showbiz, if you know what I mean. I mean, I was a bit spiky and a bit too opinionated, and I was still, part of me was still, I came from that punk era where that's what really got me into music in the first time. It made me think, well, I can do this too.
Yeah.
So there were a lot of things in the 80s that I didn't feel comfortable with politically, and the way some of the fashion things as well, and just some of the things that were going on. So I was a bit uncomfortable in some of it, but that's just, you know, I look back on it and think, no, it was a great time. I had a great time.
Good experience.
Great.
Yeah.
And you work with some great artists. I mean, Paul Weller, you've had a long-term collaboration with Paul Weller, and you worked on his first album, didn't you? His eponymous album in '92, wasn't it?
Yeah.
What tracks did you get involved in on that?
I can't remember because it was. I mean, I knew Paul from the sort of mid-80s, the Star Council, when we did the Red Wedge, things like that.
Yeah.
So I really got on, and I loved Paul. Obviously, when I was younger, I loved the Jam and stuff.
Yeah,
like
me
that.
too. Yeah.
I loved all that.
Yeah.
Great.
Were you a bit of a mod, Robert?
Not really. I wasn't really a mod, but I was. You know, I mean, I was doing my own thing. But I loved his records, all of them.
Yeah.
You know, and especially the Jam were a great singles band. So it's a thrill to get to know Paul. And in fact, I'm still working with him now. His new single that's coming out was a co-write that we did. So he used to play on stuff, and I would go to the studio and he'd say, "Oh, right, well, play a bit of bass on this or play a bit of guitar." And I was, so I ended up playing quite a lot on the first album, and then bits on Wildwood and Stanley Road.
Brilliant.
I played bass on Changing Man and things like that and all that. So in fact, I played on his first solo single, Into Tomorrow. I played some rhythm guitar. He was just being nice to me, I think, but he didn't need me to do it. But I met a lot of people through Red Wedge that became lifelong friends, people like Rhoda Zakar, and you know, so it was
Billy Bragg, of course.
Billy, Billy gave us an education, and it was nice. It was nice.
Yeah, I bet. Exciting times. And DC Lee, you did Slam with DC Lee as well, didn't you? There were some great tracks on that album, wasn't there?
Yeah, I think it went a bit under the radar, but I think it was ahead of its time a little bit, that one.
Yeah, it was.
And it's great to see that she just made a new album, with acid jazz and all that. Yeah,
definitely. And again, that was sort of a house music vibe, wasn't it? Sort of house and funk. You know, it was a great sort of
club
sound.
music was. I was living at that time. I was living in Brixton, above a record shop, and I shared a flat with a guy called Hector, who was a DJ at the WAG Club. So I was very exposed to kind of club music and what was going on. So it influenced a lot of what I did.
And if we could go back to digging the theme, when that first broke, because it went big in America as well, didn't it? And you went over there. What was that experience like to be in America?
Yeah, it was mind-blowing, really. I mean, we toured America '86 with Robert Palmer, and he was number one at the time with Addicted to Love. So we flew in and did this big gig in Denver as our first gig, and it was then we ended up doing. And Digging had just crawled into the sort of 100, but then kept going, and we ended up doing Dick Clark's American Bandstand, and it was quite surreal to be honest.
Because it was such a big hit.
I still live in this little flat in Brixton above a record shop, and they were sending posh cars around for me, and I was going, take it away,
Oh no!
You blow
your cover, blow your cover.
I don't want to, So it was quite surreal, but great fun. We had a good time. We toured America for about 6 to 8 weeks then, and it was lovely.
Now you split in 1990. Is that to pursue a solo career?
Yeah, kind of. A lot of things went on. We had young kids. We moved out of London. We'd been together for 10 years by that time, and we'd never stopped. So I was a bit exhausted, and I was into sort of different music, and I wanted to do different things. So it's the beginning of sort of a different period of my life.
Yeah, and it's been very fertile since then. I mean, you've released album upon album, haven't you? And but because you reformed in 2007.
Yeah.
How did that come about? Did you all sort of just ring each other up and said we need to get back making music?
Well, kind of fast forward. So that's nearly 17 years, and I've been making solo albums all down that time, 10 of them I think, and helping with Paul and working with other people. But then kids are then suddenly 17, 18, they're leaving home, they're moving on. You're not a full-time taxi driver anymore or whatever it is.
So I've got to that stage at the moment.
It's
and
a big hole, isn't it?
And I wanted to get back in a band, and there was only ever one band really, and everyone felt the same, luckily. And the key was to get back and make new records. So that was the thing, not just be like a nostalgia act, but go out and let's make some new tunes and see what we can do.
You've certainly done that. Are you playing any of your new tracks?
Oh yeah. I mean, I wouldn't be able to do it without that. That's the kind of thing that keeps me really interested. New record. Let's see if we can put this one in the set. Of course we play old things too, but it's a real mixture now.
That's it. And of course some of your music's been in the movies as well, hasn't it?
Dirty Dancing. I mean, I love that. How did that come about with Dirty Dancing?
It's just a freak, really. They said they're making this film, they're doing all cover versions, choose one. So I've had a quick look down the list. I thought, I like that, You Don't Own Me. And they said, okay, well, you've got half a day in the studio, just go and do what you can, And I did it, and I kind of forgot about it, really. And then someone says, that track you did, Dirty Dancing, that film's massive, really.
It's one of the biggest films of all time. Still never seen it? No, it's been my top 3 movies. I love it.
And it keeps coming back because new generations keep discovering it, don't they? Well, I mean, we sometimes do it as an encore and might put it in tonight.
Oh, God. I'd love that.
You'll be in your element.
We'll do that.
Brilliant.
Tell me what to do. Don't tell me what to say.
Invite you to the premiere then?
I didn't go.
You did?
So I think Mick went, but no, I didn't. I had no idea it was going to end up being the kind of phenomenon that it was.
No.
It's just one of those things.
No one did.
Have you watched Police Academy 4 as well? Because
no, but it doesn't have to be this way.
Yes, that's it.
Yeah, there's some funny things that someone was telling me, and I hadn't seen this, but someone had done me on Stars in Your Eyes.
Oh, right.
And I had no idea. So they showed me the video that made me laugh.
Was it quite a good likeness? I don't remember.
He was
seeing
quite
it.
good, actually. Yeah, I might put it on YouTube. You can see it.
Oh,
It's made me
yeah.
laugh.
Yeah. Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
Tonight, singing live, Ross Coward is Dr. Robert.
It doesn't have to be this way. Just count the hours.
So into the future, obviously
Yeah.
you're touring April up
Yeah.
to sort of today, March and April.
Yeah.
Anything planned for after
Well,
that?
new record comes out in May, and we're doing a bunch of festivals in the summer, and then we're going to do another tour in the winter.
Great.
Ending at with a big gig at Cadogan Hall in Chelsea, and hopefully we'll get a few special guests down. A kind of career retrospective, I think.
Oh,
for that
brilliant.
one.
Kim Melle actually said to us, "I'd love to perform with Robert
Yeah.
again."
Yeah,
so
she did.
bear her in
Yeah.
mind.
Well, that might be a possibility. I hope that she
Yeah.
can come along to that one.
That'd be brilliant. And you have toured with a few greats, haven't you? Level 42. That must have been.
Yeah, Curtis
good.
Mayfield. We played with.
Curtis Mayfield.
Fantastic. Yeah. That's
Yeah,
right.
Level 42 was good fun. It was nice because they were playing at these big kind of venues, old kind of theatres and stuff. And
Yeah.
although their fans are not particularly the same as ours, it worked. It was good fun. It was nice to
Yeah.
meet them. Nice lads.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, well,
Oh, thank you so much for your time.
Well, my pleasure.
Really nice to see you after all this time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nice to see you too.
it's the best appointment I've had with a doctor.
Oh, all right
There's a
then.
doctor in the house.
Well, I got no,
I bet you've
yeah.
heard all that before.
Well, I can't give you a diagnosis, but it's been nice to speak to you.
Oh, thank you so much.
All right.
Thank you.